Hey everybody, welcome back to HitPoint, the JRPG news show, the anime news show, the niche news show. A show where Baku and I will be talking about everything and anything that catches our interest and or ire. We stream live every single Sunday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be previewing some trailers, talking about some industry news, responding to super chats at the end of the show, and generally just having a good old time. Buddy Baku, how are you doing today?
Having a good time. Having a good time.
Oh, don't stop me now, man. Because okay, hang on, don't get us copyright striked, okay? I mean, this is 2025. We're starting off fresh, and
That's right.
I feel so refreshed.
Oh boy, yeah. We had a much needed rest, and now we're back.
Dude, guys, man, it has been a slow start to 2025 as far as various RPG newses go, but man, we do have some things that have accumulated, some housekeeping. Speaking of housekeeping, you want to see something cool? Oh my goodness, I got this big old fireplace behind me. I think we talked about this. I don't know if I talked about this last time during HitPoint, but this was a sparkle in the twinkle of my eye. Just a few short weeks ago. But man, how did this get here? I don't even know. I'm going to be making a video all about that on the Super Derek RPG's YouTube channel, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that. Of course, I'm sure most of you guys already are, but man, I got so much to talk about. Before the show, Baku and I were just talking about everything that he's been up to. I've been a little tight-lipped, a little bit tight-lipped. So I can tell you all about what I've been up to, guys. But Baku, before I just commandeer the stream and just get super chatty, how about you tell me a little bit about what you've been up to, man?
Oh boy. As everyone know, I had gone off to Southeast Asia for 3 weeks. And I'm still coughing.
Still got the kennel cough from it, yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. So in a nutshell, I went down to Vietnam and Thailand. I visited 7 different cities. I had a lot of fun. And I got these like Michelin rated like food. Not that I trust Michelin, as like a be all end all, but the quality is there. And they are like less than $5 a meal, right? And it's like unbelievable, inexpensive. I really want to stress that it's inexpensive, not cheap. Like all the ingredients are there, all the taste, all the flavors, all there. It is inexpensive, right? Like you got a really strong dollar, you got to go spend it somewhere else, right? So it's just incredible food, great hospitality. Lots of stories I can tell you through these 3 weeks. I went and climbed. I went on a hike, multiple hikes actually, where I felt like I was going to die. And I feel like
actually, or like,
well, no, I mean, not
figuratively,
actually, figuratively, yeah. But it just tells me how out of shape I am, and it's kind of a call for help. Is my body saying like, look, it's either you make some changes now, or that's it. You're just gonna, and your fitness is not gonna get any better from this point on. Like if you don't do something about it, like this doesn't fix itself, right? So
time heals all wounds except for that one.
Yeah, it's part of my New Year resolution now to really, really get to working out. And I mean, I'm not going to get like swole or anything. I'm not going to like Markiplier, but I want to at least be able to go on a similar hike and not want to die. But it was also kind of hot. So I mean, I can make all kinds of excuses. Yeah, it's just a little. Like I was looking at the map of the world, and I was looking at because I went to Ho Chi Minh City, which is the largest city in Vietnam, southern part of Vietnam, and then I looked at Bangkok, which is their capital, also their most prosperous city, also in the southern part of Thailand, respectively. And you look at the latitude line, right, and you look at it against the equator and against like the rest of the world, other countries around it. It's basically like southern India heat, even if it's December. It's really hot, and it's
But
right by the ocean.
It's a wet heat though, so it's just...
It doesn't feel good. I'm used to the dry, cold weather of like East Coast, right? So when you throw me there, I was just dying, and also the pollution is horrendous. Like I didn't know this, but some of the cities I've gone to are like top 30 worst pollution city, like on average, right?
Oh, okay.
Like,
So maybe that's also why you're coughing. You're just dealing with smoker's lung after like a couple of weeks.
A bunch of things. I'm sure I'm coughing because my lungs like, okay, this, you got to push the stuff out. It's like buried inside, what is it called? The
gotta let the sludge out. Yeah.
You gotta get that stuff out. So yeah. So, but also one of our travel mate actually confirmed got bronchitis. So that's where my suspicion comes from. Like I had like a pretty bad fever for like 2 days. It was bad, but also like you travel to Southeast Asia, you pretty much expect that you will get sick at some point or another, especially for like 3 weeks, almost a month.
I mean, I don't know if that's a misguided assumption or not, but I kind of did assume that. But
yeah.
I mean, just different germs that you're not used to fighting off,
Right. So it's not that they're like, dirty or something. It's just when you travel, you just have a higher chance of getting sick from like, foreign.
And like when you get a flu shot, you get flu shots for what they project is going to be active in your area, not Southeast Asia necessarily. So,
well, it offers some defense, but it's not. Obviously, nothing is infallible, right?
Well, yeah.
So it could have been even worse if I hadn't gotten those vaccines.
Definitely.
Yeah, but nonetheless, it was an interesting experience. So that was like 3 weeks, and then I've spent 2 weeks recovering. I'm still coughing a little bit when I talk for an extended amount of time. But I was just telling Derek like 2 weeks ago, I'm just sitting there, like not doing anything, and I'm just coughing nonstop. So compared to 2 weeks ago, I'm already feeling much better.
Wow.
Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah. So I've been, I did some vlogging, which I will talk a little bit more about later on, but I will be sharing some footage over on Twitch tomorrow. I'm not going to do any game streaming just yet.
Okay, sure.
I'm going to show off like what Vietnam and Thailand looks like over in my channel. We'll talk more stories over there. But yeah, just 7 cities. I've got to tell you, if you've never been to Vietnam, I think Vietnam is a worthwhile place to visit. If you ever get a chance, it's a lot of culture, a lot of great food. It's inexpensive, like I mentioned. It's just a lot of nice luxury, and the city's like actually very developed. Like I'm very surprised of how developed like Ho Chi Minh City is. A lot of good stuff. Thailand, I'm kind of half and half over because there's been a lot of human trafficking incidents down in Thailand. I don't know if you've heard about that, Derek. Like this is like international news.
No.
But yeah, people were like kidnapped from Thailand. They're taken to like Myanmar and into Cambodia, where they work in like these like scam call centers. And
I did hear about that.
Right, it's this huge thing. Like BBC reports it. Like it's this huge thing. So thankfully, our entire group, it's completely safe. We haven't gotten into any like sketchy situations. Some other folks weren't as lucky, but that makes me feel like Thailand is more expensive and less safe, and so I don't know how I feel about going back. Chiang Mai was fun. But I can talk more about that some other time. I'll also give you some deets. I did get stuck in Istanbul for 11 hours.
Not Constantinople, right?
Not Constantinople, yeah, Istanbul, which is the capital of Turkey for those who are not aware. And
now, for those who aren't aware, Istanbul was once Constantinople, but now it's Istanbul, not Constantinople.
Yeah.
Been a long time gone since Constantinople. Why did Constantinople get the works? that's nobody's business but the Turks.
And it was the Byzantine Empire some time ago.
The Byzantine? I thought it was the Ottoman Empire.
Byzantine. It was the Byzantine and then the Ottoman and then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Byzantine was like the Roman days. It's like the Eastern Roman capital or something. But anyways, yeah. So that's that whole thing. The food was really expensive, and the people at the airport that I was stuck in wasn't so nice. Like, it's just like, I don't know. Like, it doesn't make me want to go back. Like, I'm sure the people outside the airport might be better, but the only point of comparison right now for me is just like, just the way that I was kind of treated or not treated in the airport. It was bad. Long story short, my they couldn't find me in the on the ticket in the system. They couldn't find my name. They're like, "Hey, we see that the seat is booked through Thai Airway because they're in this like. Have you ever heard of this like what is it? What is Star Alliance? You ever heard of the Star Alliance things like ANA, All Nippon Airway, United Airline, and like some other like major airline? They have this thing called like the Star Alliance, right? Where basically if, you know, say for example, Japan doesn't have any domestic flight, but you're flying in from Japan, well, the connecting flight would be through United, and all you have to do is book through ANA, and they have this alliance thing where they'll connect you to United. It'll be like easy peasy, right? You don't have to then go to United to buy a connecting flight, right? That's how it's supposed to work. So I was getting a return flight from Thailand to back home in DC, and they're like, well, we'll connect you through Turkey, through Turkish airline, and we're in the Star Alliance. So it's like, hey, we're all these partnerships and everything is streamlined. I'm like, okay, cool. It was not streamlined. I got to Istanbul. I'm like, hey, I'm here to check in for my flight home. And they're like, we don't find you in the system. And I'm like, okay, well, here's my itinerary. Did you happen to check
under Dr. Baku-san JRPG instead of Professor?
That's what I should have checked. That's what I should have checked. Yeah. No, and I asked them, and I'm like, "Hey, here's like, my."
Don't you know who I am?
Don't you know who I am, sir? I demand respect. No, not only was I not getting the minimal amount of respect that you would expect from like customer service, I was being berated.
Oh, like, they're like antagonizing you for it?
Oh, yeah. They're like, well, what do you want me to do about it? Like, literally, the guy looked at me when I had, like, Thai Airway on the other line, calling for roaming, by the way, and it was super expensive. And I'm like, hey, listen, I've got Thai Airway on the other line. Can you talk to them and, like, figure out what's going on? Because here's Turkish Airway, here's Thai Airway. You guys have this alliance. I don't know what's going on in the system. I don't work there. Like, can you guys please like figure it out? I've got them on the phone. Yeah. Like, I've done my part. I've gave them all my information. Can you please talk to them? The guy looked at me square in his face like, what do you want me to do about it? Like, I didn't book this ticket. You did. You figure it out. And I'm like, what? Like, how am I the person who is about to miss my flight home more calm as the customer than you who is working for the airline that's like screwing up my flight home? Like, how am I more calm? So, you know, I just didn't want to deal with the guy because I'm like, you're wasting my time and you're not helpful. I turned my attention to the lady next to him and she was helpful, but it was not the only instance of me seeing them like outright berating customers. I know like we can be rude in the US, but I've never seen them just like straight up like yell at the customer.
I mean, so I've heard that the United States is, you know, I mean, sure, we can be rude, but generally I feel like the vibe I get when I read a lot is that like internationally we're seen as being overly friendly with people, you know, outside of the United States, which is interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
But then maybe the people who do international travel are just generally happier people.
I don't
one way
know.
or the other.
I don't know. Either ways, that was the worst experience I've ever had in traveling, and I don't think I ever want to go back. But yeah, we can talk more about it later, but I'm also starting my last semester in school, so I'm almost done. Things are just looking
Nice.
up, man. And now we're starting HitPoint again.
Oh
You
man,
know, I've got so much. I'm so hyped for this year.
it's
We've
going to
got
be
so
such an
much
awesome
things.
year. You were
Yeah,
looking over our 2025 list of topics already, right?
yeah,
Anything
we are.
anything standing out as being particularly like,
I
the one?
mean, can we tell them like we're okay without saying who it would be? We're already getting like a new set of like interviews coming.
Yeah.
So more indie devs that will be interviewing. Um, oh, I am going to MacFest this weekend. So actually, this coming weekend.
Hmm.
So I will be doing live interviews over there, which means that we won't have HitPoint next Sunday because I will be in MacFest. But you know, like all kinds of cool stuff that we'll be doing. We're
Yeah.
trying new things. We're doing new things. So
Oh
really
man,
looking forward to a whole new year with you guys.
it's going to be so nice.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's
So
me, sir. What about you? What's going on?
me? Oh man, not much. I got him. No, no, no. So
You're
yeah,
killing me, literally.
I think that when last we left off, last time on Hit Point, Super Derek was talking about some things that he had recently discovered about himself, perhaps having ADHD. I think I did talk about that. I know I definitely talked about it with you, Baku. But anyways, yeah, since then, boy, have there been a few changes for the better. One of which is just having the energy and the focus to spend my entire like 2 weeks away from work because I happen to work for a college. So like it's between semesters and or it's complicated. Not a college, but I work with colleges. So anyways, I had about 2 weeks of just nonstop time to dedicate to doing little cool things like this. Oh my gosh, I got this big old this. Oh my gosh, can I show this off? Yes, I
Yeah,
can.
yeah, yeah.
Check this out. Check this out. All right, if I do, oh man, oh my gosh, look at this. Ah,
Wow, look at that.
I know. I still need to put actual like pictures in these picture frames that I also
Mhm.
worked on. But oh man,
That is slightly creepy that there are no pictures inside.
I know. I know, but like, look at the flame, look at the flame effect. Oh man, I'm so happy with the way that came out. I put
No, this thing
so
looks
much,
so good.
I put so much effort into like this whole studio. Um, like over here in this corner, this used to be. Oh, here I could do this thing, can't I? If I hit this button, yeah, okay, there we go.
Mhm.
So check this out. So this all used to be where a shelf of video games were, and then back
Mhm.
there, like that whole window, that was covered by a shelf of video
Mhm.
games. I had no window there.
Mhm.
So instead, I moved all of that. I moved that shelf all the way over here,
Mhm.
and that shelf, I moved that all the way over there
Oh my god.
behind my presentation desk. Oh man,
Yeah.
that was like day one. I'm just like, I'm gonna rearrange my entire office.
You did that in a single day?
Yeah, and then I painted.
Wow.
You
Mhm.
can't really see it very well, but I painted up the here, if I zoom in, maybe you can see it more. I
Mhm.
painted up the walls to look kind of like old school plaster and stuff. So like it's easier to
Mm.
see maybe
I see it, yeah.
in different lighting. But
Mhm.
anyways, anywho, so I got to do all this. I also recorded a whole lot of it. With like a whole lot of this was recorded in time lapse, and I'm gonna be making a video about it very soon. And it's gonna be awesome. In the meantime, I've also done a few other videos on YouTube, very low key stuff. A Q&A video that's gone on for like an hour, just
Mhm.
talking about, well, responding to every single question that I got for that Q&A session, asking, and kind of responding to some questions in a very brutally honest way, because I really do want to kind of re-establish my connection to the community. And I felt like kind of just an open discussion was a good way to kind of kick things off. And then I did a whole other 40-minute video just sitting in front of my fireplace chatting about what would it take to make a good like Chrono Trigger spiritual successor or something like that, like any spiritual successor really. And that was a lot of fun, and I'm going to do more stuff like that. But what I'm most excited about, and I know that this is something that I've been talking about here for a while, I finished Lufia 2 Rise of the Sinistrals. We're done. We did it. Oh, I did it on stream.
Oh.
We got streaming, boys. We got back on Twitch, and I not only finished Lufia 2 Rise of the Sinistrals after over 8 months, buddy. I started this back in April. I started it back in April.
That's crazy, man.
We finished it up over just a few, maybe a week ago, and I've already written the review, filmed it, edited it, made a whole new overhaul of the game collection with all new assets and transitions that I custom built from scratch just to be a little bit extra, because everybody's been waiting on this review for over 8 months. So I figure I better at least try and make it worthwhile for everybody. Dude, you're gonna when you see it, I think you'll be very, very impressed. Hype responsibly. Don't overhype this, everybody. Come, just give me
do not
hype some slack.
Just hype. Just hype. Pure hype.
It's not gonna. Yeah. Anyways,
no responsibility.
It's already in the first revision of the video is done already, and I'm so it feels so good to have it done. I still have to do a second round of edits and fixes and stuff. It'll probably be another. So I think that supporters of the show, people who are subscribed on Twitch, people who are supporting the Super Derek channel over on HitPoint on YouTube, the Super Derek channel, and then Patreon supporters, they're going to be getting early access to this video here in about, I think, I have tomorrow off. Yeah. So let's say tomorrow. I'm hoping to have the video up in early access tomorrow, and then I have a plan to not. I up to this point I have been putting that out for early access for like a week or so, but then here's the problem that I run into is when I do, I just kind of release it and then it doesn't get a whole lot of views because I've not put out any videos prior to that for a while, because traditionally I'm just focusing on that for a while. And then when you every first video that you put out for after a short break, YouTube tanks it. So instead, my plan is to start putting out some other videos. And once I've gotten back into the cadence of releasing things like a few times a week, and then YouTube like puts me back into the swing, then I'll release the episode of Lufia 2 review, and then it'll probably get views, and I'm excited to try to reestablish that. So 2025 starting off super cool. I'm so happy with the way things are going, and HitPoint is back, baby. We back.
Yeah, we're definitely back. So
we are so back. All right.
We've got a lot of news to go over.
Yeah.
So much that we are. Yeah.
I will say we are at this point going to skip over comments from like 5 weeks ago, whenever our last episode was. It's just, we're going to start fresh with 2025 now. And if anybody would like to leave us a voicemail, you can do so at 785-337-3805. Number is on the screen here. You could also email me a file of your recorded voice if you'd like. If you don't have a landline or something, if you don't live in 1990, you can do so by sending that to HitPoint@SuperDerekRPGs.com. That is SuperDerekRPGs. That's HitPoint at SuperDerekRPGs.com.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So, moving along, we've got some upcoming releases this week, don't we?
Yes, we've got two, and they're both just right in our core demographic, right in our alley, let's just say. And the first is something that I really enjoyed with my time with its early access. So this is coming from Ender Lily's creator, Binary Haze. They've just released the final trailer to their newest entry, Ender Magnolia Bloom in the Mist, to commemorate it leaving early access and launching in other platforms. This game is, if it's anything like Ender Lilies and anything that is a good continuation of what I've already played, they released like up to like the first 3 chapters so far. If it's going to be anything that if it's a similar experience, then I'm already thinking that this is going to be an amazing game. Ender Lilies, it's kind of a little known game, but it actually sold quite well. I think it sold like 1.5 million copies in all form, and that's impressive for a new IP with very, very little advertisement. I'm surprised if anyone's ever even heard about it. But if you haven't tried Ender Lilies, you like sort of like a platformer, RPG, Metroidvania kind of deal, definitely give it a shot. But we are here to talk about Ender Magnolia. We do have a trailer for that. Let's take a look.
All right, let's check it out. All right, let's see if I remember how to do this. Hang on, it's been a minute.
This is the final trailer.
Oh, I should probably turn that down a little bit.
Just
don't want to get copy striked here. I don't know. Oh no, my camera's all weird on the side. I'll fix this.
The music and the art and the story from Ender Lily is just phenomenal. So this is kind of it's a sequel, but I don't know to what extent. Like, is this like canon in universe sequel? Is it like
just a follow kind of in another
is it just
universe?
Like a sequel in terms of like a similar gameplay in the same company kind of deal?
Is it direct or is it indirect? Is it
yeah, there you go.
Is it like Final Fantasy, or is it like Trails?
Yeah, there you go. That's what I don't know. And we may find out after playing the game. But at least at this point in time, I have no idea. The setting is completely different from the previous game. That's the reason why I can't say one way or another. They can still be connected though, somehow.
Sure. That does look cool.
Oh, it's a phenomenal game. So a lot of times when you play these like action games, like you need it to be very fluid, right? And fluidity is something that this game does really well. Extremely fluid gameplay, very stylish, amazing art, as you can see, great sound, and music directions. It's the whole package, guys.
This appears to be one of those kind of paper doll aesthetics, but done well. Kind of not quite Vanillaware level, but still really good. From what I can
they're
see.
like a small little studio. I think that the fact that they are able to pull out this level game, and this is like their 3rd game.
Yeah.
This is their 3rd game.
It's pretty rad.
Like the first game was Ender Lilies, and then they had that tactical RPG that didn't sell as well. I forgot what it's called already. I've been putting off to play that one. But this is like a, going back to what they were really successful in making. So I'm kind of hyped for this.
Yeah. Well, rad. So this is coming out when?
This is coming out January 22nd. So that's in like 3 days?
Very soon,
coming out in 3 days. Yeah, you can actually get it right now in Steam for early access, and you can play for the first like 3 chapters or so, or 3 areas, I should say, because it's the Metroidvania thing. So it's like areas that opens up, but they close off all the other areas. But now they're leaving early access. They're launching the game. This is the final trailer. It's showing off the rest of the stuff that we didn't get to see. I already played a little bit of this game. look at it like it's almost like kind of like a demo, if you will, right?
Sure.
And from what I played, it was really good. So I'm stoked to play this game. And not only is it available on Steam, but it's also going to be available digitally anyways on PS4, PS5, Xbox Series, Switch. So they might do like what is it called, the physical release later on if the game sells well, because that's what they did with Ender Lilies. They eventually did like a limited run physical release, which I got, and because I liked the game so much. So I'm a little biased, but I really enjoyed Ender Lilies, and I hope everyone would find out about these games. Is part of why I enjoy doing HitPoint. Is like these amazing games, and I want to tell the world about them. And so Magnolia is going to be one of those. So
hell yeah, man, that's so cool. Be real. You're actually sick as a dog right now, and we're still doing HitPoint because. Right on cue. And we're doing HitPoint because you just wanted to talk about Ender Magnolia.
Well, I want to talk about all the games, but especially Ender Magnolia.
Yeah.
No, it's because I miss everyone. I've been away for too long, and I'm like, if we miss another week, like we're just gonna be forgotten. Like no one remembers. Well, okay, well they'll remember you because you're still pushing stuff out. But I'm just gonna be like, dude, being gone for a month in like content creation world, you must well have retired. Like it's just
tell
so
me
bad.
about it. I get it.
So
I get
bad.
it.
Yeah, but we're
All
still
right.
here. Hi.
Yes. So that's coming. Did you already say the platforms and
January
everything?
22nd on PS4, 5, Xbox Series, Switch, and PC, of course.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and take this next one. I don't think we divvied up the subjects because we're out of practice. But guys, we got another game coming out this week, and it is called Sword of the Necromancer Resurrection. And it feels like just the other day that we were actually talking about this being announced, or we got a first trailer or something. I feel like it was
got delayed.
Yeah, it felt
delayed,
like just a little bit ago we were talking about it though. Bottom line, and I was like, oh man, is that like the Crypt of the Necrodancer? Like for some reason I had it in my mind that was it. It is not that. This is something pretty sweet actually. So this is the 3D remake. Well, 3D I feel like is one of those words that loses its meaning over time. The polygonal remake of Sword of the Necromancer from Gremio of Games is coming in just a couple of days. It's coming out on the 23rd, and we have a trailer for it as well. So let's go ahead and check that out.
Let's take a look. This game looks impressive to me. I think they're trying to recreate like the PS1 era.
Yes.
And they are doing it well.
I think it's a little like DS-ish. DS kind of.
DS-ish.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a similar aesthetic.
Like PS2, not PS1.
Yeah, I can see PS2/DS. DS as far as like it looks kind of like with the character models being kind of that style. I feel like the
little chibi.
A little more chibi than was popular on PS2, which is why I think I associate it more with DS. Like what was the there was a game.
So I feel like
Legend of Legacy. Legend of Legacy has a very similar proportionality to it.
Except without like the pointy legs or the pointy feet.
This is a little
crazy.
Yeah, this is like that, but with feet.
Yeah, with feet. I like
they know
this
their
proportion
audience.
better.
They know it's like
creepy.
our audience need feet for reasons. Got them.
I didn't know they like feet so much. My God.
Oh, look! They showed that. They just showed
really
some feet.
good.
That does look good. Look, they even have fingers and stuff. Yeah. So it's like it's clearly inspired by that aesthetic, but they're not limited. They're not limiting themselves by it. So that's sick.
I really like this.
So again, it's coming out in 23rd on all modern platforms, including the PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, the Steam as well. So
everything.
All the things that we care about.
Yeah, except for the Switch 2, but we'll talk about that later.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
we don't know. Maybe.
Oh, maybe. But yeah, I suspect that people who enjoy like Zelda would probably appreciate this game. So it's probably along that that kind of like adventure game, like minor puzzle solving, action oriented gameplay.
I dig it. I really do
Yeah.
dig that. I think that, there is as many like Zelda clones Zelda likes action adventures that there are out there. It feels like the number of really the number of like really interesting ones feels lower these days than usual.
Yeah,
And I don't know why that
unfortunately,
is.
I think a lot of the Zelda-esque games ends up being more like what is that one famous one in Super Nintendo?
Link to the Past kind of
Link to
style?
the Past, yeah. Link to the
Okay.
Past is kind of like the model of like Zelda-esque game, but like 2D. And we see a lot of it, and and they're all good in their respect. But this is different. This is like the 3D kind.
Yeah.
So
And there are
obviously it takes
some
more.
There are some 3D like a Oceanhorn comes to mind, I think, as but yeah, the overall number just seems lower than I would think, given the love that people have for the Zelda games. So anyways, this is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go ahead and move along here because we have a lot more games to get through. We're done talking about the stuff coming out this week, so let's talk about some of the games that got announced here. And we got
Boy. So we're gonna touch on some stuff that we didn't get to geek out with you guys over before we went on hiatus. So some of these you guys already know, but we're gonna go over them anyways because we didn't get to geek out together. So we're gonna do that right now.
I had to geek out separately. I don't even know how to do that. It was the
Do you
worst.
not know how to geek out alone?
No,
Well,
all right.
We shall geek out together now.
Perhaps.
So
yeah, you got
let's start off
first
with this. Yeah, let's start off with this one. I'm more familiar with these two. Sega and RGG Studio announced two, not one, two brand new projects. And I think that's quite ambitious. And let's just look at the first one. They did this over at the Game Awards show. So let's just take a look at it and then we can talk about it. This first one is called Project Century.
All
Take
right.
a look at the trailer.
Now, Jeff Keighley's not going to copy strike me, is he?
I hope not. I mean, it's the trailer that we care about. So
Yeah. Oh, this music might copyright strike me though. So
maybe just mute it then.
yeah, so the this is showing some footage of like old school Japan in color now.
Yeah, 1915.
1915. So
Yeah.
the century that they're talking about must be the century
A
between
century ago.
1950 and 1915 and then up through 2015. Is that what I'm getting here?
We'll see. We don't.
I mean,
know.
we don't really.
This is
Yeah, we don't have
about
any
a
details
century
yet.
ago.
But
Yeah.
like, they haven't told us anything yet. But I'm curious. So this looks definitely like Yakuza,
Yeah, Yakuza-esque gameplay.
or rather, like a dragon, like RGG,
Like a dragon. Yeah,
which makes sense because this is RGG Studio, right?
this is
So-
RGG. Yeah, this is
Oh,
their
yeah.
bread and butter.
Oh man, this is their sushi and sake.
Lots of gore.
Oh,
Yeah, the gameplay
that looks fun.
definitely feels RGG. You can see the DNA. Oh, geez. Oh,
that was bloody delicious. His shirt say trademark on the back.
yeah. This is the Showa. Showa? No, Showa. No, not Showa. Shoot. Taisho. This is the Taisho era. So before. Yeah, so this is the Taisho era. Yeah, so that is Project Century, and of course, a lot of people a lot of people are making speculations about what this game's about. Is this like a
Oh
Yakuza
yeah, yeah.
from like, the 1915? And then the director is basically saying, no, whatever you're thinking, you're probably wrong. Just stop.
I
Just
love it.
let us cook. Let us show you
Yeah.
what it is. You'll be surprised. And then
Hype
just
responsibly.
yeah, responsibly. Yeah. So I will throw my guess into the ring because when I saw it, I'm like, oh, this might be it. But here's the thing: like, it's not the first time that they've made a game that has very strong Yakuza DNA, but not Yakuza. I mean, somewhat connected in the world, but Judgment is the like spin-off. So it's not impossible for them to have a game that has similar DNA, but also completely unrelated as well.
Yeah.
So this could very well be like their answer to keeping that kind of what's the right like action kind of gameplay that the newer Like a Dragon games have since moved away from. And
Keeping that alive.
I don't see them moving back. Like they're
Well, not for
gonna
a while. Not as long as Kasuga's, taking the
not
lead.
as long as Kasuga is the main character, and I suspect that they will keep him as the main. I mean, they tried so hard to establish him as the main character, and
Yeah.
and they did a great job. I don't think they're gonna throw all that hard work away. Sorry, my internet or something sorry, not internet. My Chrome suddenly crashed. That was weird.
Oh, that's okay.
I'm like something is. Am I still on? Am I okay?
Oh yeah, you're good.
Yeah. So I suspect that the Like a Dragon game is gonna be turn-based still, except for the spin-offs. As you guys know, the pirate game that features Majima is going to be an action-oriented game, but that's not like a whole series, right? Like this could be the action-oriented series to keep the fans happy, and it will be a completely new character, completely new, age, new era, new surroundings.
And they call it a project, so I mean, I wouldn't think they would call it Project Century unless they were planning on making it a whole
thing.
multi-game project.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
if it doesn't sell well, then
true.
they certainly plan for it to do well. But it looks great. So I let RGG cook. They have not disappointed me. I mean, obviously, I always have some complaints or some things that they can do better, but overall, they haven't disappointed me in the things that they push out.
It's the DLCs afterwards.
It's the DLCs that bugs me. Yeah. So
that's
stop
fine.
it.
That's fine.
But as far as like the core games that they push out, they're all quality games, great humor, great gameplay, definitely recommended. Now, so that's one project, but this next project, I didn't expect RGG to be handling this. Let's take a look at this. This is the pre-development concept video of the new Virtua Fighter project.
Okay, here, you go ahead and press the play button here, and I'll switch to theater mode. Because it's a very short video.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, Virtua Fighter is sort of like the fighting game series that Sega had not really
it's
worked
hardcore
on for a while.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Yeah. But this is like the new... Are they leaning into the homeless dad look? Is that it? Like Akira is also a homeless dad now? Is that they saw what they did with Ryu in Street Fighter, and they're like, we need that. We need our own homeless dad. It looks great. Yeah.
Hey, yeah, that's pretty sick.
So we'll see more of it. I mean, this is still super early stuff. So, but I'm excited to see them. Whenever company willing to do new IPs, it gets me excited because, I mean, as much as I like the old stuff, I want them to try new ideas. I want them to tell new stories. Like, I don't want them to get stuck in complacency and just like do nothing new and take no risk. So these things are the new stuff. They are taking risks. They could just drop Virtua Fighter and never touch it again.
Right? I kind of like the idea that they'd bring back Virtua Fighter. I mean, here's the thing. Like, Shenmue started off as a Virtua Fighter spin-off. It kind of oh yeah. Yeah,
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's super cool because that's why the character looks so similar to God, what's the guy's name? Akira? Yeah, from Virtua Fighter. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, it started off as a spinoff, and I don't know, part of the fact that like I always hear Shenmue being compared to like a dragon is so cool. And now I'm like seeing more dots that could potentially connect.
Coming full circle.
It kind of is. And I mean, obviously I don't think that we're going to see, any sort of like thing where RGG makes another Shenmue game, but that would be so cool. It would be so cool. And RGG just a little more DNA being shared,
Virtual Fighter project is interesting to me already. So,
yeah. It's super interesting anyway. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just like over here connecting dots that don't belong together. That's what I'm doing. This is what gets me excited.
Please, sir, hype responsibly.
Because in 15, 20, 23 years, we'll probably, we might see in 30 years Shenmue reboot by RGG.
Shenmue reboot would be interesting.
Shenmue. Shenmue.
We'll see.
Yep. All
right. Well, what other crazy projects do we have lined up?
Oh, buddy. Let me tell you a little bit. One of my favorite games that is not an RPG is this little series. You might have heard of it. It's called Onimusha. Well, with that said, let's just take a quick little gander at this little thing here.
Yeah. What is this Onimusha? I've never heard of it.
I mean, most people haven't because this game, it was on a Capcom like voting thing that happened a while back. You might remember us talking about how disappointed I was that Breath of Fire wasn't included or didn't rank as well as I would like it to. But Onimusha did. Onimusha went up pretty good.
I'm surprised that they waited this long to bring Onimusha back. Because, like, I feel like Onimusha is, like, the perfect thing to round out their, like, supremacy. Capcom has just been killing it in ways that Square Enix only wish it could.
Oh, yeah.
Because they don't just do well in, like, one genre of game and then do something here and there. They do well across the spectrum of genre of games. All these IPs that people know and love.
Is that the original, like, the original model? He was an actor who was who Samanosuke was modeled after.
Something.
Is that him again? Did they get his likeness again?
I don't know because I don't remember what he looks like.
It might not be Samanosuke anymore this time around. It's hard to say. But that would be so cool. I would be so happy. I would be.
No, it's not Kinoshita. It's Kimura? No.
It feels like I'm getting less human.
Is it Kimura?
Oh, 2026. Let's go. Way of the Sword. Oh man.
Name. This is bothering me.
Well, you could look it up while I stall for you. That's fine. It's slated for sometime in 2026. It's coming out on PS5, the Xbox Series games consoles, as well as PC. And I am incredibly responsibly hyped over this one because I'm gonna probably play it. It's got the horror elements of Resident Evil because it was also kind of a Resident Evil spinoff originally. Did you know that, Baku?
I did not know that. No.
Oh yeah. It's
actually did not know that. That's news to me.
Yeah. And it was originally going to be a Resident Evil set in like feudal Japan, but then they're like,
we'll zombies. They have Oni. Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and that's why it also kind of had similar-ish controls to the tank controls in the first one. So, anyways. Yeah.
So
they've been doing really well with that, and then they're making this. And what were you gonna say though?
Well, here's my hope for the game, right? Because I don't know what the game's gonna play like. We saw some action, but it's not enough to say one way or another. Here's my hope for the game. My hope is that they will distinctively separate this from like Devil May Cry.
Yeah,
Devil May Cry, because Onimusha the original game was more of a high speed like hack and slash deal.
No. Okay, so
higher speed.
Well, I mean, not the first Onimusha was slow. It was tank controls.
It felt pretty. Felt pretty fast to me compared to like Elden Ring, for example.
Yeah,
Like
it was
Elden Ring
pretty
is-
slow. It got faster with the sequels.
Right.
But the very first one though was like definitely walking around with tank controls and like very controlled, very stiff sword control. Like it was cool. I loved it.
So I guess the
But-
series progression went that way. It's
Yes.
probably messing with my perception of it, but ultimately it did get faster. Right?
Yes,
It's
yes.
just like, well, if they can do this as, and I'm just, if this is like their sole competitor, and Dante remain like the high speed, high adrenaline, like sort of instance based like thing, more like Bayonetta. I think they can differentiate themselves enough to hit different like audience and do really
I
well.
want to know how they're gonna differentiate themselves from the plethora of Johnny Come Latelys, going after the Souls like category and the Samurai Souls likes.
I
God,
mean,
what was
Onimusha, if any game can do it, I think
they-
Onimusha can.
absolutely
It's got the backing, it's got the pedigree, it's got the name, it's got the setting
the
right.
cool mechanics of like soul absorption from a distance, as opposed to like I mean. There's definitely some things that they did first that were later incorporated into the Souls likes. But I am curious how I mean, and I agree they are gonna be able to do it. I want to know how. That's the question.
That's the
It's
fun
not-
part.
It's not how are they going to overcome this challenge? That's not what I'm saying. I'm like, what do they got in store? This is going to
What
be
are they
sick.
going to do? Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
I'm
excited.
I have faith in Capcom. They've been doing a lot of things right. The thing that Capcom does right, and it's just such a no-brainer, but it's that they actually connect with their player base and they ask, okay, what do you like about our game? Maybe that's like a better question than to say what do you like, what do you not like? Because you're never gonna get like a perfect answer. But like, why don't you just tell us what you like? And we'll try to like keep and refine those and then do something else. Like and
How would
they've
you
been very
improve the
good about that.
graphics?
If we improve the graphics, would you recommend this game to your friends?
Okay. All right. Sorry, I
people
didn't mean to throw
remember where
that.
that
I
comes
didn't.
from? I
I don't
mean-
need to throw shade. We're starting fresh in 25.
Yeah.
So
Let's take a look at the next one, right?
let's do that because the hits they keep on coming. With
Coming.
oh yeah. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and put up this trailer. I'll introduce it after the fact.
Let it speak for itself, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Capcom, you sly dogs. Or are they sly foxes? No, sly wolves?
A Sly Wolf. Oh man,
look
so
at that.
many people were just like, I remember when this trailer came out, my Twitter feed was just like every single tweet was this.
Buddy, that
Every
looks so
tweet.
good. That looks
Every
so pretty.
tweet was just this
like
for like a good 48 hours.
I know.
My entire tweet was just like Okami, 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 Okami.
that's Okami Sequel. That's all we got. It's just a teaser. No gameplay,
tiny.
nothing. But that's okay. Now the question is, what we saw, it was beautiful. Is that what the game is going to look like?
Ooh, well, if there's one person who can make sure that that happens, it's Hideki Kamiya,
Yeah.
because he was the original director of the game, and guess
look at
who's
that.
directing this one?
Like that is gorgeous.
Yeah.
The question that comes to mind though is like, is that gonna it's awesome, it's beautiful, no notes, like, but The question is, from a gameplay perspective, is that going to provide enough visual fidelity to like identify what needs to be killed by your wolf buddy? I mean,
I've never had issue with them when the visual department with Okami is always the control, like because you have to draw stuff and the sensor is always just a little off, and it becomes frustrating when you have to like circle and circle again and just keep circling because it didn't get it right. So hopefully they fix that. But visually speaking, like it's always been beautiful, and I don't.
Yeah, they're gonna nail it. I know it.
Mess it up. Yeah, I think so. I have faith in them. So Clover's a new studio founded by Hideki Kamiya will actually be the developer of this game. So again, Hideki Kamiya is back, and he is helming this project. Capcom's like, come on back. What? Come on back. We got
maybe come back.
So maybe come back.
So we don't really have any other information about a release date or platform or anything really. We don't even know what it's going to look like. That was a teaser, not actual gameplay, obviously. But man, oh man, the hype is real. Just hype responsibly.
2025 is going to be a wonderful year.
I know, man.
Into 2026. It's going to be.
We're eating good.
Yeah, we're eating good. All right. Well, that was RGG Sega. That was Capcom, and not to lose out on this announcement train. Let's say Falcom is here to hit us with 3 separate releases that will come at some point, probably 2025, 2026.
Yes.
So let's start it with the first one that I'm a little torn about, and that is that they have announced an upgraded version of East 10 called East 10 Proud Nordics. This upgraded version will feature a new story. Not an entire new story, but like part new story.
Extended
new settings. Added story. I just say, and just like many different new elements. Now, we don't have a trailer for this. We also don't have any international release information at the moment, but given the company's history, it is extremely likely that it will at some point become available for the international market. It will be available in Japan sometime this year, so we'll keep an eye out for it. The reason why I'm like kind of about this is because like this is the exact thing that it just bothers me that company
you feel like you got
this.
Atlas, right?
Yeah, I got Atlas. Like Persona. I
have
4,
a counterpoint.
Persona 4, and then Persona 4 Golden. Like, okay, fine. Persona 5, and then Persona 5 Royal. Like, okay, you. I mean, Square
Shin
Enix
Megami
does
Tensei
too.
5,
It was,
SMT5 Vengeance. Yeah. But
DQ,
I do have a counter perspective to that.
DQ11S.
I have an alternate perspective on this that I think helps a little bit. I mean,
okay.
Sure. I realize that East 10 Nordics just came out. And then they're like, oh, hey, right around the corner, East 10 Proud Nordics, like in the same breath as the English release. But if it helps ease the sting at all, remember, the original release of East 10 was on September of 2023. And they're announcing this at the beginning of 2025, probably going to come out maybe 2025, maybe 2026. It's
probably
hard to say for sure.
For international, I would bet.
You bet?
Yeah, I will say 25 Japan, 26 the rest of the world. Seems like a likely.
Suck.
Yeah.
It does suck that they are like, 3 years later, hey, here's this new version. It's just it's not as egregious as it seems, I think, because of that 3-year gap.
Yeah.
It's poorly timed because of the international release. That's 2 years late, for an international audience. But they have been increasing their rate of localization. So hopefully, East 10 Nordics, Proud Nordics will come out, 2026, and then that'll be the last time something like this happens. But I mean, enhanced re-releases are kind of par for the course at this point. And it was released originally on like PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch. The PS5 release for it was probably based on some older hardware. I suspect that Proud Nordics is going to be intended for that next gen console, the 2020 or the PS5, Switch 2. So so even though there is a version on PS5, I'm guessing that the new one's going to be just like made with it in mind specifically.
We will see. But I know what I'm doing with my limited edition of East 10. I am gonna sell it because I'm gonna wait. No, I don't
blame you. I don't blame you.
I'm gonna sell it. Yeah.
Yep. I don't blame you and everybody else though. So
yeah, I know. Well,
remember, buy high, sell low.
Some people will probably keep it. I feel like it's only people who are like hyper like responsive to these news, like myself, will do it. Most people probably don't even care until like the international release.
You're right. This is probably a better time than like a month
later
before.
On.
Yeah.
Boy, because if the international news comes out, then I'm like, okay, this is too late. I gotta sell it like now when it's still worth anything.
That's fair.
That's what it is. So I'm a little piffed, but I mean, I guess you're right. Like there's that time difference and whatnot, but still, like just stings a little. Anywho, what I hope that they wouldn't do that for is the remake for the Sky series, which we've talked about. We talked about them remaking that. We now have an official Western title. It's actually called Trails in the Sky First Chapter. That's the official Western or international title now.
That's not going to confuse people at all.
Not at all. And the game will be published by none other than Gunho Online Entertainment, which I didn't know that was going to be a thing. It's going to feature English and Japanese voice options, brand new localizations, and the limited edition will actually be handled by Limited Run Games, and they'll announce that at a later time. So there will be like a limited edition for Sky First Chapter, and I'm kind of curious about this because I am quite the Estelle fan myself, Estelle, and so I am very likely to tap into this again and never play any of the. If I never play another Trails game, I will still come back and play this remaster. I feel like, so I'm really excited for it.
I am incredibly stoked. It is such a pretty looking trailer that they've put out so far, and
Let's take a look at the trailer. I mean, we have it.
Oh yeah, I did. I did mention it. So yeah, let's take a look.
Take a look. The feels.
That gets me.
Is coming.
That gets me like
random. Woo! Oh yeah, Bestel, let's go.
Oh man. But seriously, that gets me right in the feels like the beginning of the herald at the beginning of a Dragon Quest song. You know, the the Falcom logo. Oh man, look at that.
Yeah.
See, I really feel like this is made to work on Switch 2.
Hey, Charizard. And Loverboy.
But yeah, I really do feel like this looks like it'll run well on Switch 2. What?
Wait, did you see that just now? Like,
which?
Hold on. The battle.
Oh yeah, real time.
Like real time.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Ooh.
Just like Daybreak. Did you know that Daybreak does that too?
Yes. So I'm excited for stuff like that too. Like it's not just like a remake and just like 3D and boom. Like no, the gameplay is going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like grid based, like, you know.
Oh man, it is going to be such an incredible opportunity for people to get to get sucked in.
Chloe's back. Hate those guys. Nice. This is the.
Oh man, there's Olivier and Charizard and Joshua and Estelle. An unforgettable journey
Yeah,
begins.
I am unreason. I didn't think I would ever be so stoked about Trails because I'm not like the biggest Trails fan. But okay, you got me there. You got me.
Oh, buddy.
You've got me.
Oh man, that is looking so good.
No. Yep, you got me there. Okay. So, this is going to be released worldwide in the fall of this year, 2025, on PS5, Switch, and PC. So, I mean, time flies. Before you know it, this game is going to be in our doorstep. So, wait for the limited edition to come out. The announcement, I would imagine it will come out soon because it takes time to fulfill those orders. So probably in the next, I would say in the next month or two, you're probably going to hear about the limited edition pre-orders, which I'm totally going to go in for.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I don't love that it's through LRG though. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like, I don't think they've burned me before, but I just.
I don't think Gunho has the capacity to do limited or experience doing limited.
Yeah.
I just hope that they will be consistent at least and stop switching things in the middle. Like, you know, it's limited edition. Like, because we know it's going to be a trilogy. So, like, if they go like, oh, it's limited run games going to do limited edition for first chapter and then second chapter is like some other vendor and then they do different things. Like, I think that's going to really like.
Oh, God. If they don't match, I will riot.
Yeah, they're not going to match. And I'm like, oh, God, what are you doing? So. Excuse me. I'm just hoping that this trio, the series, this trilogy will have very consistent release and consistent release schedule, and that would be all I am really hoping for.
You don't know this actually, but they're actually going to turn this into a 6-part series.
Oh no. Are they pulling a Square Enix? Are they doing an alternate reality thing? And
well, you didn't hear it from me.
Oh no.
Just kidding. But that is probably how they'll retcon the action RPG gameplay into it that they brought into Daybreak, because that was part of a new orbment system in that game. So I don't know how does that orbment end up 3 or 4 years prior.
It's going to be a 4th bonus chapter. Oh, so that's what's first chapter, second chapter, third chapter, and they're like, oh, here's a 4th chapter, the missing chapter.
I think I know why I am not. Okay, here's why I'm a little disappointed that it's LRG. They're probably fine people mostly, but what I have experience with is that if I miss out on that initial run, I'm hosed, and it's going to get scalped super crazy afterwards. Like if you miss out on that first like initial wave of the collector's editions, like if you go onto eBay, it's not going to be like, oh yeah, here it is for like $10 more. It's going to be like, oh yeah, here it is for $3,000.
But that's the nature of limited edition, though, right? So
not all limited editions. It's just like when they're really low runs, like limited run games. That's when there's just no grace, no leeway, and it. I don't know. Part of it is, I think, with those really limited runs, it reminds me of Square Enix when they did their like drop in the middle of midnight on a weekend, and like everyone's asleep, and like you wake up and they're gone, and like what the? So
yeah.
So anyways, the fact, yes. Oh my gosh. So anyways, reeling it back in. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen. I feel like LRG is probably better at that than Square Enix, since that's kind of like their bread and butter. So it probably won't happen, but part of me is like, oh my God, am I going to get it? Am I going to miss out? Like I got that FOMO going hard right now, just hearing that it's LRG. So I'm going to have to order it and pray that it shows up and isn't like damaged or something. And
that's how they get you, man. But okay, but wait, there's more.
Yep. Oh dear.
But wait, there's more. Okay, you see how we've done like 2 games for RGG and 2 games for Capcom. Falcom is like, let me do you one better. I'm gonna throw like a 3rd contender in there just to get you really excited. Falcom also announced that they will be releasing the remastered version of a lesser-known crossover game that was only ever available officially in Japan, called Ys versus Trail in the Sky Alternative Saga. Now, along with the remastered graphics and 60 FPS, this entry will also feature couch and online multiplayer for the first time, because there wasn't online multiplayer before, and English voice acting. Let's take a look at that trailer.
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah, let's check this out. I wonder, is it also coming to PSP?
For all the people who are like Trails or Ease, well, you don't have to pick anymore. You can play Trails and Ease.
And Ease, yeah.
And Ease at the same time.
Legend of Heroes, Trails in the Sky, Ease. These two worlds are about to collide.
Yeah, collide!
Finally, the walls between the series are broken for a dream matchup.
Yes.
Alternative showdowns and old-fashioned beatdowns await.
Oh, man.
East versus Trails in the
Does
Sky.
the voice acting
Alternative
sound
side.
familiar? Because they should.
Coming to PC.
Yay.
Yeah, coming to PC!
That is exciting. That's very exciting. I wanted to see a little gameplay.
I know. Well, I mean, if you want to see gameplay, just look at the old game, because this is going to be a remaster. So
Oh, it's not a remake, it's a remaster.
It's not a remake, it's a remaster. Now, my guess is that, of course, for one, the game's already there and the fan base is there, so why not? But another part of me is like, I mean, if this does well, Falcom might be like, hey, maybe there's a market for something like this, and maybe we'll do another East versus Trails, but this time it could be like, Trails,
Dude,
Cold Steel,
how does, oh my god. After playing through the
Cold Steel,
through the Cold Steel games, like the cast of characters at this point is massive.
yes.
Seriously, picking out a party in Trails of Cold Steel 4 felt like the choose a character screen on like Smash Bros Ultimate that just like never ended. It's like, choose your character, and then it's like you have to pick like 17 people
on a lower count here, but I mean they have 10 games worth of characters. That's fine. Yeah. They'll be okay. Don't worry. Don't you worry about little old Ado. Ado will handle.
I'm sure he'll be all right. He'll bump into somebody that might help.
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see how this does. I mean, whether or not fans are receptive to this. I think this could either be like a cult thing where like just strong, like really dedicated fans, or maybe it could be something bigger. We'll see. This is slated for sometime in 2025 again, and unlike the trailer, it's actually more available than PC only. It's also available on PS4, PS5, and the Switch. So yes, it's multi-platform and also PC. Now, other cross-platform play, I don't know, because there's online multiplayer, but that's just something that I don't know at this moment in time. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what this game looks like.
So that was being localized by Gung Ho Online Entertainment, which is pretty interesting. I've heard some people talk about the reason why that might be, and I haven't taken the time to confirm any of this or not.
I
so
think
you could...
this one is different. That was the Gung Ho one is Trails in the Sky. This is done by somebody else, I think.
Oh, this one's being done entirely separate?
Somebody else, yeah.
Oh.
So GOG is involved, like heavily. Like this Refined Games, I think it's like REFINT Games.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is not Gun Ho. Like this is some other company.
Well, thank you for that correction.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm still thinking of Gung Ho though, because I got the remake on my mind.
Yeah.
And anyways, so I was trying to figure out like why that is, and somebody mentioned to me, and I haven't verified this, but it sounds like the reason that Falcom might be working with them is partially probably because Nisa and Xseed are full to capacity with some of the projects that they're working on. But the other reason that I've heard is that there actually might be some high-ranking staff members who were previously at Xseed back when they were primarily going through Xseed, who now work at Gung Ho, which is pretty rad. Because
with you.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's truth to that or not, but I will say that Gung Ho have also announced something else that's pretty sweet, and that is the release date for the LUNAR Remastered Collection which will contain Lunar, the Silver Star story complete, and Lunar 2, Eternal Blue complete.
Yes.
So this collection will feature new English voiceover, have the option to play in classic and remastered mode, and other quality of life improvements. And I think, is this a new trailer that we have, or is this the same trailer?
It might be the same. I'll take a look anyway.
Yeah. I'll take a look. Yeah, because I think I showed this on JRPG Weekly Update, but I don't think we talked about it here. But yeah, like the original voice actress and stuff, like she's been hanging out with, I remember seeing on Twitter, the voice actress who's singing right here, she was like back in the booth to like re-record some stuff, and she was actually talking to some of the original developers at the time, and
It's ours. It's so beautiful.
I have no excuse not to play this now.
Have you ever played
it? This game when it released.
You missed it? Did you ever play it?
It's the same old story of a lot of retro again. It's like I had very limited funds. I can pick this game over another game, and it's just a game that I didn't get to pick. And then by the time I have the means to afford these games,
they're like
too
$200
late.
each. Yeah,
it was like 2 decades later.
Yeah.
So
I didn't get to
just never
play
got to
these. I didn't get to play these games myself until 2012, 2011. Like I was definitely well past my this was
I think they also have like the original artists come back to do some art for them too. So I'm very excited. Like they really brought back the crew and like, all right guys, let's not just the Japanese but English. Like, all right, hey, we've got this cool thing. We want to make it very authentic for the fans. Let's do it.
Noriyuki Iwadare, he was the composer for the Lunar games, and I believe Grandia also. Just incredible, just music tugs at the hearts. You will be in tears, my friend. You have a lot to look forward to. And if you at home haven't played it, well, you should. It's going to be awesome because it's coming out on the 18th of April this year here, coming out on PlayStation 4.
Ooh, in just a couple of short months, man.
Coming to PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, the Nintendo Switch, and PC via Steam.
I think that's strange that it's not available for PS5.
It is though, because PS5 is backwards compatible. Like I think
PS4 is like what?
I think it's because PS5 is just a PS4 player at this point. Like you don't need to have a separate release for it, really. Like what is it going to make a difference visually? I don't think so.
No, I think it's more to the fact that like people might be reprehensive about buying a PS4 game on a PS5, even if there's no difference. Right?
There's going to be a digital download.
Right.
I mean,
it's like why not just make it available on the PS5 store anyway?
I mean, they probably are. They probably will.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't think it's going to run any different because it's. Yeah. I mean, it's a PlayStation 1 game.
Well, no, I don't think it's going to run any different. Like,
from a
technical standpoint, it's just a marketing thing that's strange. I mean, when you put a game on PS4, you might as well put it on PS5 too. It's just, it's
my
right
guess
there.
is that
same with Xbox Ones and Series. It's like just put it in the store, just make it a thing. Like, why not just?
Well, yeah, I'm sure that they will. I'm sure that they will. But as far as like why it's not on a PS5 disc, it's like, well, that's just one more SKU to have to create. SKU. One more SKU to have to create. One more like bulk order to place that you might not sell through. So like for a small run, it makes the most sense to do it this way. Kind of like if you make a pre-create a whole bunch of like t-shirts for different sizes of people, like you want to be kind of aware of like how many quadruple XLs are you going to sell? How many quadruple SL smalls are you going to sell? Words are hard sometimes. Like, how many extra smalls are you going to actually sell? Like, maybe order just one instead of 20, right?
Yeah.
So that's the idea. I think. So very exciting there.
I've got a friend who is just absolutely ecstatic over Lunar collection, and I'm also very excited just for the reason that I had already mentioned. Not to be outdone, there are still a couple more games that we're going to be talking about, and the next one
marvelous.
is not necessarily like my wheelhouse of games, but it's certainly something that has a huge follower, and that is that Marvelous had just released a new trailer and a release date for the upcoming light simulation and action RPG Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma. We can take a look at the
Dude.
trailer for this.
Yeah.
This is like their second trailer or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this actually. Guardians of Ozma. I think
Yeah.
we might have saw the first trailer a while ago.
We did. We've seen it before.
It looks really nice.
It looks really good. I'm just not a life simulation. That just distracts me from what I do care about. But obviously there aren't this many Rune Factory game because it's not popular. Some people really, really love that balance of like farming and crafting and going out to adventure. And this just looks like the evolution of that.
Mhm.
It looks absolutely gorgeous compared to some of the other Rune Factory games, which feels a little bit more rudimentary. This feels like just a higher budget deal, if that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah.
That's very exciting because like for a while it felt like Rune Factory was definitely embracing the chibi stuff, you know,
Yeah.
the smaller like. And this is
Ooh,
this is
village
neat.
building.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not even just like farming. You have to like build the village.
Yeah.
Okay. And there are like stats involved.
Oh. Yeah. This
let me
is
tell
going
you
to be
that-
pretty cool. It's going to be a huge time sink, I'm sure.
The village building is already giving me like anxiety.
It's giving
Looking at the
me
life
some
simulation.
Dark Cloud vibes, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
because that was all about world building and like placing stuff in a certain way. Because at least
That's
from
beautiful.
that perspective, it was more of a puzzle solving element rather than like a town crafting sort of thing. But in this game, it's probably not.
Oh, the action looks way better than the previous like Rune Factory games. It's
Way.
no longer like a top-down
It doesn't look as
kind of
stilted.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Oh.
more like third
Oh,
person
oh,
action.
guys, watch. It's the romance section. I know you.
Romance?
This is what
Romance?
this sells games now, buddy.
Oh.
Oh, you can get
girls
a
and pretty
little fox
boys?
boy. Oh,
It's clear we're united in our desire to fill each
Oh,
other's
dear.
lives with joy.
Oh dear.
all kinds of friendships and stuff going on here.
Romance
That's a
anyone.
lot of closed eyes, people rubbing their heads.
Oh,
Oh,
16 romance candidates. 16?
oh my gosh. That's a
A
lot.
Yeah.
What is this? Trills?
What is this, Cold Steel?
Monsters attacking the village!
It will be a long and perilous journey.
Oh,
The fate of this land
horseback riding. Dude,
Mm-hmm.
like this is a pretty big project, isn't it? A pretty
It's a huge upgrade compared to the fifth game. The fifth game was actually not really good because a friend of mine is a big like Rune Factory fan, and she played fifth, and there's all kinds of like silly bugs that in a modern game shouldn't be happening. Hopefully they've learned from those, and actually it wasn't even bugs. They were just bad design elements because
Yeah.
they were functioning exactly how they thought it would be. But it's this very clunky Rome building thing where like the drawers doesn't sit flush to the wall, and you're just like, what? Like there's a gap like between the back of the bookcase to the wall, and all the furniture just have this like weird gap. You're like, what's going on with this? But this looks way better for like the town building and stuff. So
Good.
you know, maybe they've learned and
That
they
looks-
figured it out.
that looks fun. Like I think I might actually want to play that after seeing the trailer. Like before, I was like, oh yeah, that might be a good thing for like some time. But this is like maybe I should ask Marvelous for like a review key or something around that time because
You should.
it'd be
I think you should.
it'd be nice to get hands on. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this seems slightly outside of your, usual games.
Sure, but I mean,
Yeah, slightly. And you can have a lot of fun. Maybe you'll learn the joy of Rune Factory, and you're like, oh my god, I never knew I would like this so much, but dang, it was so good. All
well,
right. So this is actually also coming in fast. Like this is coming out on May 30th. Like we said, there's an actual release day. So May 30th for the Switch and PC. No PlayStation, no Xbox, sorry. But yeah, but you can play it on at least 2 platforms. So look forward to that.
heck yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So, did you want to handle this next one?
Yeah, I can talk about this one real quick. This is called Lost Soul Aside. It is a new action RPG from developer Ulti and published by Sony Interactive, which is the curious part.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the trailer and then we'll talk a little bit about it.
Okay, because this is my first time hearing about it.
Yeah. Lost Soul Aside. Yeah, so this is from the China Hero Project, which is like this
is like their outreach,
to
right?
try to, tap into Chinese developers.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And
I remember them doing this and someone smashed a PS4 when they started when they announced it or something.
yeah, it's crazy. That was just a silly. Yeah. Anyway,
I know.
and the game is good. The game is good. All right, guys.
Look at that.
Right?
Oh, that
Yeah,
dragon looks.
so-
Oh,
I think ever since the success of Wukong,
yeah.
I think Sony might want to double down a little bit on Chinese developers. I think that seems to be the way that they're doing, and not like Chinese companies buying out Japanese developers. No, I mean like investing in Chinese developers who can make like the next Wukong, right? So
Yeah.
but I mean, Sony hasn't had the best investment record lately with
Well,
Concord.
let's hope that's different, but we'll talk about some of their other investments later on.
oh boy. Did you wait, hold on. Did we talk about this? Like the upper limit of people's estimation of how much Concord cost?
No.
400 million. 8 years. Over 8 years. That was supposed to be like their live service, like cash cow. They're gonna rake in billions and billions of dollars. They made like $1 million in revenue.
Oh.
1 single million. Now, obviously, 400 million is the high estimate, so it's probably going to be lower than that. But the
Let me tell you
fact
guys.
that it could potentially be $400 million should like
Let me tell you.
make you think about
I-
their investment strategies.
I could get them $1 million return on investment easily for 1/10 of that price.
Go on.
Yes.
Someone
give me,
made a video.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll tell you. Just give me $50 million and I'll give you $1 million back. There you go.
Yeah.
Way better
Someone-
investment strategy.
Oh yeah, you lose less for sure. Higher return on investment by fourfold.
Yeah.
Right?
How would you, sir? How would you like to quadruple your ROI?
Yeah, and way faster too. You could do it the next day. Like you don't need to wait 8
super
years
fast
for this
turnaround.
result. Yeah, I give you that million tomorrow, man. You know. Yeah. So this is definitely from a Chinese developer for sure because this is part of the China Hero Project.
Yeah.
We'll see, and I think this is also interesting because there will be more games like this that I think would be the fruit of that, endeavor of them
Yeah.
trying to tap into.
It's a
that
long
market.
game, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we'll see how that turns out. And this is why I'm interested in keeping an eye on this to see, like, okay, Sony, your other investments starting to come out now. Now that game is slated for sometime in 2025 for PS5 and PC. We'll see how that turns out. But this next one you got.
Okay. This next one here. This is coming from Surume Kobo. It's a new high-speed mech action game called Omega Phoenix. Commence Project 6. So this game is
Super
gonna
long title.
Yeah, it's gonna feature over 30 missions of high-speed mech battles, mechanical customizations, arena modes, and one-on-one battles.
Yeah.
And we've got a trailer for it as well.
Actually, it looks pretty good. It's a short trailer, but it looks pretty good.
All right, let's check it out.
I miss these, man. Like, there were a lot more of these, like, high-speed mech battle games in, like,
PS2 era.
I want to say, like, the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And then they just kind of, that whole genre just kind of, like, disappeared. And
I
now
feel
they're
like there
bringing it
was
back.
one recently.
Yeah, Armor Core.
Oh, no, there was another one recently-ish. Oh, God.
I think that one is
Like,
kind of like a
couple years
1v1
ago.
deal.
Oh, maybe.
Specifically, yeah. This is like mission based and also arena and also one-on-one. So it's more aligned with what Armor Core had to offer. Like you have the
Yeah.
story, but you also have like the PvP.
Oh, look at that Gundam. I mean, Mecha.
Gundam.
Totally not monk. Totally not monk Gundam. Yep.
It does look good though. So all you mecha fans out there, if you're a fan of what is it called? I just said it. I just said the title.
Armored Core?
Armor Core. If you're a fan of Armor Core, but like you want something just a little higher speed, like this is it right here. This feels a little fast, just a tad faster than Armor Core. Armor Core feels more, it's a little bit more realistic in the slowness of the mecha. Not to say
Ooh, let's go with
slow, but-
unrealistic mecha. If I wanted
Yeah.
to see some robots fighting realistically, I'd go watch BattleBots.
Well, okay, so I don't know if you've ever played this game, but it's called Zone of Enders. Have you played Zone of Enders?
Sounds familiar, but no.
Zone of Enders is like a PS2 mecha game, and I love Zone of Enders, and this feels like the speed, the pace feels more like Zone of Enders and less like Armor Core. It's just
Okay.
a tad, like 15% faster than Armor Core, but same deal. Like you get to customize your mech, different weapons, you have missions. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this.
Awesome.
All right. The next thing that we've got, and we're starting to enter like more like indie territory. This I'm really interested in personally because I'm really fond of this developer. The makers of Pocket Mirror and Little Goody Two Shoes comes a new game from Astro Shift. They've just announced this. This is called Held Maiden, which will be an original retelling of the Indian Renaissance classic Divine Comedy. Let's take a look at that. It's not really a trailer, it's more of a teaser because there's not a whole lot that they're talking about. But the art's already got me because they're really good about doing this like 90s style anime art.
Yeah. Like that
which is-
Bishojo kind of
Yeah.
Sailor Moonish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is definitely like, you know, if you enjoyed like Pocket Mirror or Little Goody Two Shoes, like this is gonna be right up your alley.
We don't really know what it's gonna
Yeah, see, it's got
play
that
like yet,
it's
though.
got that perfected late '90s anime aesthetics that I really like.
Uh-huh.
And like the thing I like about this studio though is like they don't really advertise their game like a whole lot, but all the people who have played the games have all like nothing but good things to say about the games. It's just like very unique. It plays well. Just a whole bunch of things. I haven't had a chance to play it. I have the games. I just haven't had the time to play it. But from all the reviews I've seen, from all the things I've seen, like they're doing great. So I am excited to see that they are pushing like new titles and like new IPs. We'll see what this game looks like, but they say that they're gonna try to break away from like the horror RPG, which they have been doing. They're gonna try to do something different. But
Yeah.
not much else is known at this point. No platform, no release window, but they will slowly release these information in their Twitter and X. So we'll probably come back and talk about this like a couple months from now when they have like a new major announcement or like a gameplay trailer. We'll come back to this.
All right. So
Excuse me.
next up, from Shueisha Games comes a new story-driven adventure game called Opus Prism Peak, which follows a middle-aged photojournalist who must use his old camera to explore a world outside of his reality, uncover its mysteries, and find a new way home.
Yes.
And this is also what the thumbnail of today's video is based off of. So I thought it was adorable. Let's check out the trailer though and just see what this is all about.
So I heard the voice of the protagonist and I was like, this guy sounds familiar. He's Urahara from Bleach,
Oh, okay.
among other things. Like he's voiced a lot of very notable roles. So I think voice acting is going to be like a huge part of this game.
Yeah. You know, and it's not an RPG. It's a story-driven narrative adventure. So it's definitely all about a story. Maybe not very much or anything in the way of combat. You know, just keep that in mind. It's oh, it looks very pretty though.
You know, like I've got to tell you, like these are my palate cleanser nowadays between long sessions of RPGs because these are like so far removed from like the RPG like genre
Tropes
that it gives me, you know, some room to relax
Reset.
that part of my brain and really reset. But it's also it typically tells a very good story and it really respects your time. You can sit down and like maybe 7 to 8 hours you can finish this game playthrough of just like a gorgeous story that is just like a nonstop journey. Those things are very much welcome in my book. And yes, to your point, there would probably be no combat. But you're here for the story. It's a different experience. And I would definitely recommend for folks to try these things in between, you know, long games just to give yourself that refresh. It feels good. It feels good to play some of these.
Definitely. One of the things that I really love about RPGs is that the way that they are kind of the culmination of a lot of different facets of humanity and art, you know, from the compositions to the writing to the cinematography. In addition, there's also the gameplay. And in RPGs, there's the combat. But what I like about a lot of these story-driven narratives is that they are also so many of those other things besides the combat. You know, they still feel like the peak of so many different kinds of artistry out there. So that's one of the other reasons that I also have a special spot in my heart for games like this, because they're also very condensed. And they can just give you a really big experience in a short amount of time, and I love that. I don't know about this one specifically. I haven't played it, but I, you know, it's worth looking into.
Like a game, like I don't know, not quite like this, but it's oh shoot, I played this recently. It tells the story of a person who tries to retrace his mother's diaries to figure out what happened to her through like it's like a point and click adventure game. And I finished it on stream in like maybe 5 hours, and it was just the most gorgeous game, and it tells like a really like heartbreaking story it really quickly. But the thing that they do really well is because there's no combat, right? Because combat is like if you have to have combat, there's some requirement that constitutes a combat, and so you can be very
You have to have a
creative about
conflict
it.
of some sort. Yeah.
Right, but
And a conflict that comes to blows.
yeah, and it
necessarily.
forces you to have to set up that conflict and have the gameplay be a certain way.
Yeah.
Whereas if you remove that restriction, if you will, you can have a lot more gameplay elements that directly tells you a story and be part of the mechanics. And so to your point, like when you have combat, and you can use that very effectively, but that becomes, there are certain things that are non-negotiable. Like there has to be conflict. You have to be like this against this situation.
Yeah.
These games, not the case. And or maybe it is just for a small section of it, just so you can like really put yourself into this character and experience a life very quickly through the mechanics. Every button that you click is already part of the storytelling, and it could be extremely effective. Highly recommended for some of these games. What was that other game that we've talked about for a while? The Indonesia one. I keep forgetting. A Space for the Unbound.
Yes.
Like, games like those are just condensed storytelling too, that I would definitely recommend.
100%.
But back to RPGs, sir. What did we have? We have more
Yeah.
RPGs. Two
Well,
more.
Following the success of the original game Everhood back in 2021, developer Foreign Gnomes have announced that they will be launching a sequel called, wait for it, Everhood 2. It is an unconventional RPG this year. So
Yes.
let's take a look at Everhood 2. You know, thing is, I don't actually remember Everhood 1, so this is going to be new to me completely.
Oh no, we definitely talked about Everhood 1 before.
You think?
I think so. Or did we not? No,
I don't know.
Everhood 1 came out right before we started HitPoint, I think.
Sounds right. I don't know. Like,
Just the funny stuff. This definitely a different kind of RPG.
I kind of dig that.
Mm-hmm. Not everything has to be like a Final Fantasy thing, you know?
Nope, everything
Like, there
has to be
are
Final
many-
Fantasy Baku.
Yeah,
Everything
well,
must
'cause-
be. Except for Final Fantasy.
There's a lot of indie RPG that I see where it's just like good guy here, bad guy here, and then you fight, you take turn, and you have commands, and that's your battle. Like it doesn't have to be that way, you know. There are many different things that you can do, and this is one such example. And I think they're doing it really well. I'm glad that there are games like this.
Oh man, that looks kind of Guitar Hero-esque.
Intimidating.
I dig it. Bullet Heli.
It's psychedelic, right? I told you, I was like, this definitely has
Wait.
some like
Modding
Undertale
support
Mother
custom battle. Wait,
influence,
do you
but,
actually
like,
play this with a Guitar Hero controller?
I wonder if you could.
Oh my
'cause
God,
that'd
dude.
be
I would-
crazy.
Dude, that would be sick. I would bust it out. I would do it.
Remember, I was like, this is like Mother and Undertale-ish, but like more psychedelic. Like yeah, this is Everhood.
Oh, dude, I like. That's sick.
Yeah,
That is fun.
I love it.
Okay. Wow. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's gonna be coming out sometime
soon.
this year. Here in March, March 4.
Yeah.
Coming to Switch and PC via Steam.
You know what? You want to hear an interesting tidbit?
Sure.
Everhood 1 came out on March 4th, 2021.
Oh,
I'm
exactly
sure they're
4
doing
years
this on
earlier.
purpose. I don't know what the significance is of March 4th, but I don't think it's a coincidence. But yeah, they're releasing the second game exactly 4 years apart.
Hey, why not celebrate your
Yeah.
your original release date? I guess.
Someone said Everhood 1 was great, weird, psychedelic, absurd, and gave them existential crisis. Ooh, that's just all the
10 out of
things I
10.
love. Yes. Thank you. And welcome to our podcast. All right. The last game, and it happens to fall on me, which is great because Derek has not really touched the series, and I am a huge fan, so this works out. This was announced some time ago, but since we never got to talk about it together, we are adding it here. Monolith Soft announced that they will be bringing Xenoblade Chronicles X out of the Wii U, the console that like barely anyone got to play, and onto modern Nintendo platforms. This definitive edition will feature enhanced visuals, new story elements, new characters, new mechs, and so much more. Let's take a look at that new trailer that they had actually just released not too long ago.
All right, let's check it
A
out.
new trailer, not the announcement trailer. New trailer. Yeah, for people who like Xenogear, this is about as close as you're gonna get to Xenogear.
You think?
Yeah, because you get
Oh,
to
'cause it's
actually
in
fight in
space.
mechs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's right. Yeah, I never realized. For some reason, I never put that together.
So I have played Xenoblade Chronicles 1 through 3 and absolutely adore the series. And so I am kind of hoping that Xenoblade X, which has very loose connection to 1 through 3, I'm hoping the new story element will retcon some things and make a stronger connection is what I'm hoping that they will do.
Yeah.
I don't know that would be the case. A lot of people point to like outside resources, and I've heard all those arguments before, right? Like, oh, did you read the whatever book that they released, and did you do this? No, I want in-game references. Like, I don't need.
Sometimes you just want to know how they connect without having to do
watch
homework.
That show. You know what I mean, Derek? Like,
yeah, you just don't want to have to do the homework. Like,
no,
like,
I don't need
give me
all
the
these
experience.
extra media, and even in those things, it's all speculative and just hints like wink, wink. You know, like no, I don't need wink, wink. Tell me if they are connected or no.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like make it official. Stop being a coward. You know, just do it. It's either they connect or they don't connect. If they don't connect, then they don't connect, then that's okay. But if they do, then just put your foot down and say, yeah, this is how they're connected. Boom. Like hard lore.
Yeah. Like, and when I enjoy a video game, I want to like experience the story there. Like, don't just make me go do something else. Like,
yeah, like. So we'll see. This is there's a lot of questions that they didn't answer in Xeno 3 that I'm hoping maybe the answers will be in here. We don't know. I'm hoping. I'm really
pretty
hoping
cool.
that this is
like this is a
be,
very pretty looking game.
Right?
I wonder if this is going to be
Xenoblade now. Will you give it a shot?
Is it? Well, I think what I would do is I'd probably play through Xenoblade 1, 2, 3 first. Maybe 1, 2, and then this. Because I think this came out before Xenoblade 3.
Yes, this came out before 3.
Yeah.
But does this even connect to 3? No one knows.
Yeah, I don't know.
There are hints that they do, but
I think
no more hints. All right, just it's either they do or they don't.
yeah, that's cool. I think that at some point though, I do actually want to start the Xenoblade series in earnest.
Xenoblade 1 through 3 story is I love 1 and 2. 3 left me with some desires, but it wasn't bad. It's good in its own way. Maybe my expectation was just too high.
Maybe.
But yeah, I am really looking forward to this because I never got a Wii U, so I didn't get to experience this. But now that it's out the Wii U, hey,
I have it on Wii U actually. The number of reasons to own a Wii U is reducing quickly. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I guess that, if you think about it, this came out before Xenoblade 2 even. Like because Xenoblade 2 didn't come out until Switch. Xenoblade 1 was the only one that came out on Wii, and then Wii U was Xenoblade Chronicles
I
X.
don't know. Well, yeah, I think Xenoblade 2 came out on the Switch. So yes, it must have been 1, X, and then 2, and then 3.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Gosh, my timeline was all wonky there for some reason. But yeah,
Yeah,
the number of
but-
reasons to own a Wii U diminishes by the day.
Yeah, that is true.
It's a pretty good Wii. It's at least a pretty good Wii. So have that going
Yeah.
for me.
It's I still remember the day that I remember this very clearly, the day that they announced the Wii U and they're showing off that big controller thing, and I'm like, so are they making a new controller thing for the Wii and they're calling this thing the Wii U? I didn't know it was a brand new system. I just thought the controller, that whole thing, that was the Wii U, and it enhances your existing Wii maybe. And I'm like, I'm sure, I guess that's cool. You know, you can look at the screen and you can play games in different ways. And then they're like, no, just kidding. This is a whole new system. No, this is a whole new system. And they're like, oh, wow. Dang, you really
They really screwed
horrible
the
job
marketing, yeah.
explaining what you're selling here. So I think they've excuse me, I think they've learned from that mistake. Anywho, this new game, it's coming out pretty soon. Oh my god, this is coming out in March 20th. Releasing only on the Switch.
Now, what I want to know, and I'm curious about, is this going to come out with like enhanced features for the Switch 2?
So here's the thing: is I did write in the script, like, or is it? Because here's the thing: like, Monolith Soft works very closely with Nintendo. Obviously, there's no way that they're not already developing this also for the Switch 2, which we will talk about right after this. And this is coming out like late March. We're expecting the Switch 2 maybe in the middle of the year. This is probably going to be one of the launch title for the Switch 2, along with other things like some Mario game to go with it, I'm sure. I would suspect that this will come out on the Switch 2, like native for that hardware, because that would be smarter.
So here's what I wonder, and what I'm hoping, is that, you know how when the Game Boy was on its way out, and the Game Boy Color was on its way in, there was a select handful of games that was released for Game Boy, but when you got a Game Boy Color, they were enhanced by the Game Boy Color functionality. Like Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow is a perfect example of that, especially Yellow, I think, where it was, people bought it for Game Boy, and it was perfect on Game Boy. You plug it into a Game Boy Color, though, and then all of a sudden it just has the information needed to be able to make it super cool on this console also. So I wonder if, like, there's going to be, it'd be really nice if there was some overlap of games released in the ending window of the Switch, that just you plug it into a Switch 2 and it's like, oh hey, Switch 2, here's some enhanced features because it was developed with these in mind. That would be great, but
see, that would be above and beyond, and I have very little faith in corporate.
At this point, so, I agree,
like
100%. But it would be so easy to also implement, where you plug it in and then it's like, hey, would you like to download the enhanced features for this game?
Easier nowadays because you can patch it too.
It doesn't even have to be on the cartridge anymore at that point. Like, it'd be really cool though. But do I trust? And it's going to be on a company by company basis. I feel like though with Nintendo, there ought to be. I have the expectation that they'll treat their customers right. That's my expectation of them, that they'll do it. But it's up to them to disappoint me if they want to.
That's fair. Yeah. So having said that, I am probably not gonna get the Switch exclusive game until the Switch 2 comes out.
I'm done buying Switch games for now.
At this point, I'm done buying Switch games. I'm sorry for any games that are just coming exclusive on this. No, I'm gonna wait for the Switch 2. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
My backlog is like, yeah, you don't have to buy a single game for the next 3 years. You can keep playing, and you're still not gonna make a dent in this backlog. So yeah, I'm not in a hurry to buy a new game for a system that's on its way out. I'm not even in a hurry to buy the Switch 2, period, which is the next thing. So maybe we can just look at the Switch 2 because it's officially announced. It is official. We know it's going to be coming, but here's what the Switch 2 looks like. I am very concerned about the controller, the new controller.
I'm not. I know there's some people. I was actually at a GameStop earlier today, and they're already scaremongering people into like buying the warranties when they come out.
No.
They're like, "Oh yeah, you're definitely going to get the protection program on this because this is made for kids, and they're definitely going to break off that little tab inside."
No.
Come
on, GameStop, what are you doing?
I got a feeling. Well, it's maybe not GameStop itself, but there's the douche behind the counter who's trying way too hard.
That's fair.
He seriously, dude was wearing a 3-piece suit today. I'm like, what are you doing?
To GameStop?
So here, there is that connector, and I think I've seen some speculation, and I think it would make sense that the inside of the Switch is rubberized, like it's a rubber sleeve over the connector, and it should have some play in it. So hopefully it won't be like one of those things where like, oh, you drop it wrong and it just breaks off the tab. Like that'd
be bad.
Yeah.
It's probably
because that could be that could pretty easily be a little flexible ribbon cable.
It's probably gonna be magnetic.
Oh yeah, they're magnetic.
Yeah. So I mean, so the whole thing with the Switch 2 for me, first of all, a huge disappointment that they're not calling this the Nintendo Super Switch.
I agree.
Huge
missed opportunity.
Disappointment. Missed opportunity. Yeah, Switch 2 is boring. Like call it the Super Switch. What are you doing? But
oh well, at least it's not the Switch U, the new Switch U or something.
Switch U.
New Nintendo Switch.
So so this part is the only thing that is interesting for me, which is the fact that it is well, I mean, we sort of speculated that would be the case, but we're getting hard confirmation it is backwards compatible. You don't have to speculate anymore. But also there will be Switch 2 game exclusive. Of course there is. So this is going to function more or less like the DS and the 3DS.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Right?
That's what I'm picking up,
so, which is great. Like I'm all for it. The form factor, we more or less like already know that it's gonna be that same kind of form factor. It's work. There's no reason for them to change. Especially because the games that can be backwards compatible, they have to more or less keep like similar form factor and controllers and playability. That's all good. It's just like an upgraded Switch. The real question is what's under the hood? Because that's all we are really asking at this point is what's the spec? Tell us the spec. What what kind of things can you push out? Like,
did you see LTT's video on it?
I did not.
It's worth a watch. They do talk about, so they essentially have cross-referenced various leakers and their accuracy against different other leaks that like things that have been confirmed. They've and they've basically backtracked and put together an image or an idea of what those specs are at this point based off of the accuracy of other leaks. And yeah, it's good. I mean, it looks good. Like it looks maybe PS4-ish plus PS4, raster abilities with some, what was it? The RTX lighting kind of style. What's that called?
Shoot.
I know. Ray trace. That's it. Ray tracing.
Ray tracing, yes.
took me a minute, but I got there. So yeah, a little bit of ray tracing ability, probably nothing crazy. Apparently, it's going to have some next gen invent encoding abilities, which is interesting because why would a Switch need that? Some people speculate that it's because you can cast to the dock and have like a 2-screen operation thing.
Oh,
That would be pretty sweet.
okay.
But
I still wish that they would, in order to keep the thing that I wish that they had for the original Switch, which is like the technology to have like new graphics, like upscaler that you can like put
that is
into the
one of the
dock.
other things is
Yeah.
that it looks like it has some maybe AI cores in it for upscaling.
Because
So
NVIDIA
like DLS,
has that.
DLSS. Yep.
Yeah, NVIDIA has that, like where you
Frame
can like
gen.
dock a laptop in and just utilize like Firebolt to not
Mhm.
Firebolt, a Thunderbolt to a graphics card that you can upgrade like whenever you want. So the technology's there. I'm not saying they should implement it that way where you can just like put in like an NVIDIA graphics card, although it would be very sick if they can do that.
Yeah.
But there could be other implementation that I can imagine Nintendo be like, okay, here's a new like graphics like dock thing that I can sell you for if
Mhm.
you really want like a graphics upgrade, only for the dock mode anyway. I can imagine that.
Yeah.
In any case, like this is pretty much all that we have expected. So no crazy revelation here. We just need some confirmations from them at this point of what it can do, and it's still probably gonna sell like hotcakes. I don't think it's suddenly not gonna sell well. The Switch is just kind of a crowd favorite, with all the great first IPs, and
I think it's going to take a while for people to migrate over. Some people have bought multiple Switches just for each of their kids. Some people have bought multiple Switches for the various collectors' colors and stuff. And I don't know if they're going to, rocket forward because they have. I mean, granted, the Switch does show its age, but yeah, it'd be interesting to
I
see
don't
what
think those would be the early adapters though. Like I feel
No.
like you have the early adapters, like the hardcore, like Mario,
I'll be an early
like
adopter.
Zelda fans. Like they're not going to not buy it. Like the new Zelda's on the Switch 2 exclusive.
As a
Yeah.
video game reviewer, I'm not gonna not buy it because I have to have it, right? So
Yeah,
I'm
we're
definitely
the
gonna
wrong
be
demographics. We're in the
yeah.
we're the wrong demographics. We're
mean-
gonna get this like extremely early, just so we have
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah,
the
I'm gonna
regular
buy it
consumers
early, and I
anyways.
will
Yeah.
be disappointed when they come out with the Switch 2 Pro in 3 years or whatever. And just like with PS5, I'm like, I got the new hotness, and then they have a newer version before they even have any real console seller games for it. Anyways,
I bought the
Yeah.
PS5 just so I have it if I needed it for any kind of.
it
like,
is. To be fair,
know.
PS5 is a really good PS4.
It really is a very good PS4. Yeah, and that's what it is. But I'm at that point in my life where like if I have it, great. If I don't have it, it's whatever. I have so many other things. My backlog is again like 3 years deep. Like I don't really
Just
need
3
any
years?
console.
Bro,
3
mine is
years
deep as my
that I can
burial
count.
plot. Like
I mean, it's more things, but those I've kind of given up on. 3
I see.
years is the backlog I haven't given up on yet.
Oh, okay.
Beyond 3 years, I've given up, and I keep buying new games. Like it's an addiction. You guys get it.
It is.
Right?
It's a hobby, though. It's a hobby. They're buying games and collecting games are related, but two different hobbies.
Oh, jeez.
Or playing games
playing
and
games.
collecting. Sorry, those are the two.
Oh, jeez. Well, anywho, that's the Switch 2. And the next piece of industry news is something that we've touched on, but we never really got into talking about because it was just all kinds of rumors and stuff. So this is, of course, have to do with KADOKAWA Corporation and also the Sony Group. There were talks about like a buyout, and then there are all these like internal rumors that get leaked and stuff. Nothing concrete that we can ever talk about, right? Because it's just all speculations and rumors. Well, now we can really talk about it because now there are things that are set in stone. So let's talk about it. What are we going on about? So KADOKAWA, for people who don't know, is a huge corporation in Japan that has many different subsidiaries dealing with like manga and different IPs, and they do a lot of translations, localizations. There's a whole bunch of things that they do, and it's this huge corporation. So the story has it, and now kind of confirmed, is that there was some kind of hostile takeover attempt from Korea. And so obviously they don't want this huge culturally important corporation because they host so many IPs that are, the thing about Japan is that a lot of their identities now is tied to like anime and manga. So it's not, crazy to say that these things are now tied directly to part of like the diplomacy even, right? So Thailand, we've talked about this, Thailand has gastro like diplomacy.
Yeah.
Right? Where they open restaurants, in Thai restaurants, even in places where there's very small Thai population. The government will help fund, set you up, give you all the recipe, give you all the help, because it helps sell the country's image and it boosts tourism. It's all kinds of good stuff. Japan has something similar, but it's through these kind of cultural exchange, right? And one of their important cultural product is all these games and animes. It seems crazy, but it's true. A lot of people know Japan through anime before they even know about what the actual country is like, right? That's like their first thing. So it's not overstepping to say like a company that hosts so many important IPs it's not only culturally important, but like it actually ties to their security as part of their diplomacy. So it reaches up to the upper echelon of the government even for such an important takeover. It's not just like another company, right?
Yeah.
So Korea tried to buy it out, and then so I think Sony probably were reached out to try to help out, and KADOKAWA is like, okay, you've got to buy us out. And Sony's like, nah, bro, I don't want to buy you out. And then they're like, well, we're not selling you part of the company. What Sony wanted to do was buy only part of the company that they need. And just be like, yeah, no, the rest of them I don't need. Like, I'm not spending all this money buying stuff I don't need. I don't care. Well, they finally reached an agreement. An agreement is that Sony, effective in early this month, will buy and control roughly 10% of KADOKAWA, including things that they've already bought previously, would make them the largest shareholder, would effectively give them the defense that KADOKAWA need against future hostile takeover.
Oh, nice.
But at the same time, stop people from worrying that Sony is going to be like the new Microsoft. Because that's all I've ever seen while this saga played out on Twitter. People are like, oh no, Sony's going to buy KADOKAWA. Oh no, they're going to like close down all these things. They're going to ruin it. Oh my God. Well, there you go. Sony's the major shareholder, yes, but Sony is also not like owning this whole thing.
Yeah.
They can't just go in and just shut everything down and like, run the place
And not
down.
that they would want to. I mean,
not that
Sony's
they
got a
want
lot
to.
On their plate.
Yeah, Japanese corporations
they got their own business to
function
run.
very differently than like an American corporation in very key ways, and in that they try not to slash and burn things. Whereas like EA or Microsoft the world, they'll like, they'll close you down and be like, yeah, sorry, get out of here. Like that's business is business. Japanese is a little different. They do things a little differently in key ways. So they typically are more hands off in these kind of like M&A situation. We've seen other merger acquisitions, and those company just kind of functions as they were, as if like nothing even happened. Well, why? Like we're not used to seeing that kind of behavior because in the Western world, maybe like we're used to seeing like the EA and Microsoft kind of behavior. Not saying that they never happen, but it's rare compared to their Western counterpart. So fear not, this is about the best outcome. They're able to defend themselves from a hostile takeover. Sony is not completely controlling KADOKAWA. KADOKAWA is, doing business as usual. everyone wins. And here's the thing. I think Sony is actually benefiting quite a bit from Kadokawa's like expertise too, because that's something that Sony lacks is these like international localization and publishing efforts. So this is only going to help them like bolster their like, multimedia projects in the future, I think.
Awesome.
Because that's what a lot of companies are trying to do. They want like good. There's only two ways that they can get like a cash cow. Is either you have a Genshin Impact where you live service and just have people keep wailing over things, or you have a successful multimedia project where people are spending a ton of money on different things just because they couldn't get enough of it.
At the scale you're talking about. At the scale you're talking about.
I'd rather support a multimedia project because at least they're selling you things that's not like random blind box gambling.
Yeah.
Right. In my view.
Yeah.
So I'd rather have that.
But to be clear, you're saying to have that amount of profit at the scale that is meaningful to Sony, not like Falcom, for instance. They don't have to do those things because they're small enough that a moderately successful game is really successful for them.
Yes. Yeah. For someone like Sony, like they're gonna want like big numbers.
Yeah, they're gonna want they got 500 million they need to make up.
Oh, so this cost them $320 million US, by the way.
Oh, so less than the cost of that game that they made 1 million on.
Concord, you mean?
Yeah, Concord. So hey, as long as they make $1 million, they'll be happy.
As long as they make $1 million, that's already a better investment than Concord. Yeah, and I'm sure they will. I think the level of expertise, of domain expertise that they will now get through Kadokawa is very valuable in their existing operation. It's one of those things that has good synergy with their core business. So I'm actually looking forward to Sony, hopefully smart enough to make use of those and try to push out better content and maybe have good IPs, like good first person. I don't know, like Sony. That's one thing that's like PlayStation doesn't really have, right? Like strong first party games, right? I don't know. Maybe they can learn.
I would love for them to come out with a new Legend of Dragoon.
Well, Astro Boy was successful, so there's that.
That is true. Astro Boy did do some really good numbers there.
I think that is the real sting to them. And hopefully they learn. After losing that whole Concord deal, you know what's the biggest win after Concord? Astro, no, is it Astro Boy or just Astro? Astro. It's not Astro Boy, it's Astro.
Is it Astro Bot?
Astro Bot? Astro
I think
Bot,
it's
not Astro Boy, Astro Bot. Yeah, and that was their biggest win. Sony's biggest win.
Yeah, Astro Bot.
It was after the whole Concord deal was Astro Bot. Like just 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 review all across the board. Everyone loved the game. It was like the indie darling, except it's like non-indie game.
Yeah,
and
it's Sony's Mario essentially, because that was the pack-in for the PS5.
That's where effectively Astrobot. Thank you. Yes, so you have confirmed it's Astrobot, and
Astro Boy is the original like anime from like 1930 or whatever.
That's a different IP. Sorry, one letter off. Y and T, they look so similar in capital. Yeah. So hopefully they learned their lesson. But all right, we're now moving on to the last piece of news for industry, and this one is funny, and I will probably explain this one too because Derek had just learned about this. I thought this thing is hilarious.
Anything I say about this is just regurgitating Baku, but badly. So take it away, Baku.
All right, so Toho, the people who do like Dragon Ball like movies and stuff, announced that they will be making a live action adaptation of the Infinite Loop escape game called.
No, that's Toho, Toho, not Tohou.
Yeah,
that's not Toho like the
Touhou.
Yeah. Not the game series, but the different. Sorry.
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, different Toho. So we can take a look at the trailer really quick. There's nothing. I don't think we'll get in trouble watching this one.
All right. Let's check it out.
Music, just talking. So yeah, so this is the trailer for the Exit 8. Um, I don't know if anyone has ever seen the game to Exit 8 before. Effectively, what this game is like is you are just starting in the middle of what looks like a regular Japanese like metro station, and you go through this hallway with this same man that will pass you every time. And if you see any kind of anomaly, you have to run backwards to progress the game. But if there's no anomaly, you move forward to progress the game. So you start from exit 0 and you move all the way to exit 8. If you ever mess up, you start at exit 0 again. And any kind of like anomaly or lack of anomaly is completely randomized, and you don't know what you'll run into. And the same men will keep coming every time. You see, this it's gonna be the same guy. Except maybe his face is messed up. Maybe he's smiling instead of not smiling. Maybe he's holding the his bag on the left hand instead of the right hand. Maybe he's just stopped. Maybe he just stands right in front of you like that. That's the anomaly. But you don't know the anomaly. So you go in completely blind. You don't know what the baseline is. You don't know what the anomaly. You figure it out.
God,
and that's X8.
That's
and
weird. How long does it take to complete a normal playthrough of that? Like
a normal
usually?
playthrough. The first time I played the game without knowing anything, completely blind, I think I spent like an hour and a half to try to play it.
Yeah.
Because I keep running into anomalies that I didn't know was an anomaly, or I missed something that it complete. Sometimes they have very small anomalies. Sometimes they have really big anomalies.
Is it okay to like take your time?
Huh?
Like, is it okay to like take your time and like inspect
Oh
everything
yeah,
slowly?
there's no time limit.
Okay, cool.
You take your time. You either move forward or move backward. It's your choice. But once you make that choice, that's it. And if you
like
make
how
the wrong
far
choice,
backwards do you have to go for it
beginning.
to be considered a backwards move? Like if you want to go look at a poster again. Okay.
Somewhere in the middle. Like so like you move on and it will tell you like which exit you're in or which exit you're moving towards.
Yeah.
And as soon as you can see that number or even remotely close to see that number, you've already made the choice like in the game.
Okay.
Yeah, by walking past a certain point, you make the choice.
Okay.
Right? But the game looks very seamless, so you don't exactly know what point that is. It's a brilliant game. It's a brilliant concept, so much so that this game actually spawned a whole series of infinite loop escape games. There are many different games in this genre now. This was the first one, but there's like one with like an escalator. There's one with like a hospital with like that you can play with your other friends. It's like a 4 people version with like 70 floors. It's all kinds of things, but it all started with this.
It looks kind of fun, honestly. I kind of want to try it.
You should. I mean, these are indie games that I like to spend my time on because this is like a brand new idea. This is brand new. This is, something that no one thought to do, and then they did it, and it was executed well. And,
did you ever play the Stanley Parable?
I did.
Okay,
and I loved it.
I loved it too. It was giving me some of those vibes a little bit ago.
I haven't played a new one. I only played the old one. I have the new one. I never played it. They added a bunch of things in the new one.
How new?
I mean, it's not that new, but I played like the old one,
like the original mod, as opposed to like the retail game
mod. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The new Stanley Parable came out in 2013. So
okay, so it's not.
Ago.
Yeah, so it's not that new. Okay, just making sure I didn't miss something.
Is like even older than 2013.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Neat.
So I told you, right? I met the guy. Actually, 2011 was the original one.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then 2013 is the new one. Yeah, but I
it does sound familiar that we talked about Stanley Parable before. Yes.
Well, no, I met the guy who made the game.
Yeah, I think you remember. I remember you telling me about that.
I met him at MagFest of all places.
Wow.
Yeah,
and you're going to MagFest.
And I'm going to MagFest. That's true. We're coming full circle now.
Man.
Yeah.
We're doing the weave.
Let me see how much the Exit 8 is. The Exit 8 is $7.
Oh, it's a little rich for my blood.
And also, there's a VR version. If you want to play this in VR. Oh, no. Let me take it back. Sorry. Let me rephrase that. The XA8 is $4.
Oh, now you're
The
talking my
VR
language.
version is $7.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but the original XA8, $4. You can
Well-
experience this game $4 on Steam right now.
Wow,
It's a
okay.
pretty interesting thing to experience, given that it's spawned a whole new genre of games that
I don't
really
know if I
took
want to
off.
play that in VR. I think that seems creepy as heck. But maybe I do.
VR
I
is
don't know.
probably super creepy.
Oh God.
But you can
Alright,
try
well-
it on, your VR headset.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe not on stream though. I think that would it be weird to do a stream and like have me like wearing my Oculus Quest and like you can't even see my face. I think that would be weird.
I think a lot of people enjoy watching like a VR stream because your reaction is wholly different than just playing the regular version.
Yeah. Well.
It's not really to see the game at that point; it's to see how you react to the game.
Oh God. Yeah. But you can't even see my eyes. You can't even see the fear in my eyes if I'm wearing a headset.
It's okay; you'll be streaming. It's fine.
Okay.
But yeah, no, this game is really cool. So I just wanted to run the story because like I cannot believe they're making a whole movie out of this though.
I know that's weird.
Yeah. Never mind that it's a cool game. I get it. I praise this game. It's a really cool game. I had fun with it. But making a whole movie out of this is kind of a stretch. A whole full feature length film.
Hey,
Based
on the one
X
hand,
and 8.
on the
Yes.
one hand, sure, yes, that is a stretch. But on the other hand, how much do you think it would cost to make this movie?
You know what? You're right. Because it's probably going to cost them nothing to do this.
Practically nothing. You have like
It's the same
one
hallway
person.
over and over.
You have one hallway that you have to rent it for a day. You record there for 8 hours with one dude and like a camera operator. Like you sell like 10,000 copies and you've made your profit back.
Well, the cost is probably the CG. I think the CG is probably where it's at because there's going to be like random flood that comes out.
You're
out of
assuming
nowhere, and
you're assuming that there's going to be CG.
that's fair, yeah.
You don't know what the anomalies are going to be, and they're
That's
all going to
true.
be really lame and easy.
And all these
I'm kidding.
people are just
We don't
watching
know.
the
We
movie
don't
for the
know.
memes, right? So they're
Yeah.
gonna watch it anywhere and they will hate it, but it doesn't matter. I made my money back. That was the whole point.
It's actually, you don't know this. They didn't say this, but it's actually going to be directed by Tommy Wiseau. It's the sequel to The Room. It's The Hall.
Oh, oh no. Oh no. It's the X8. Oh, the sequel to The Room.
The Hall.
The Hall. Oh my. Well, it's gonna be a cult classic then. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not see any
Alright.
anomalies. I did not.
Nah. You're killing me. You're actually killing me.
You're tearing me apart.
Oh my god.
All right, guys. With that, Baku is dying. We need to probably call it a night. Well, in a second, I have one thing left to say, and that's our super chats that we got from Dude Man Bro Dude, who says, "I love you, Baku."
Love you too, buddy, man. Thank you.
All
for the
right,
super chat.
guys. If you enjoyed today's episode, well, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing and leaving comments down below and leaving reviews of us over on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and everywhere that you can. That's awfully nice of you guys to do that kind of thing. I mean, we're just little old independent podcasters here. But hey, much appreciated. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. We will see you guys not next weekend because Baku's going to MagFest.
MacFest. If you're going to be at MacFest, hit me up because I'm going to be doing interviews. I'm going to be hanging out there. I'm working on my low budget cosplay, low effort cosplay that I'm
High effort,
gonna have
low
a lot of
budget.
fun with.
High,
Low budget, low effort, lazy
High-
cosplay.
high budget, low effort.
High budget, low effort is buying cosplay from AliExpress. Yeah, it's like $300. You don't have to do anything. You just put it on.
Yep. Okay. Adios. See you on the other side. See you in 2 weeks. I'm just gonna keep waiting for Baku. Okay.
Wait,
can-
waiting for me to do what?
Nothing.
What am I supposed to do?
See ya.
Goodbye.